I'll always order Batata Harra at a Lebanese restaurant, and the idea of putting it inside a South Indian dosa is one of my finest creations yet. I come from a Gujarati home, but there's something about the simplicity of Batata Harra that reminds me a lot of the Gujarati batata shaak I ate growing up. You say batata, I say batata. There's something beautiful about that, isn't there? Let's begin by making our dosa batter. This is idli rice. It's also known as parboiled rice and contains the perfect amount of starch for making dosa batter. I mix this with basmati rice to heighten the aroma. Wash the rice really well and then soak it in cold water for 6 to 8 hours to soften the grains. In a separate bowl, wash and soak some urad dal, which is skinless black gram. Some fenugreek seeds will add flavour and aid the fermentation process. Drain the rice and dal but keep them separate. Now grind the rice using little to no water. If your blender is struggling, add a tablespoon of water at a time, but try to keep this minimal. You'll probably need to scrape the blender down in between blitzes to ensure even blade time. The rice batter should be mostly smooth but still a little grainy, like that of a gentle exfoliator. This will produce crispy dosa. Transfer the rice batter to a deep bowl and then add the dal to the blender along with some poha, which is flattened rice flakes. Unlike the ground rice, the dal batter needs to be completely smooth. This is why it's imperative that they are ground separately. The viscosity of the ground urad dal is what gives the dosa batter a uniform body, which is easy to spread later. Again, try to add very little water, but if your blender is struggling, add a tablespoon of water at a time. This mixture is perfectly smooth and ready to be mixed with the rice. You'll notice I'm whipping this batter using my fingers. This is super important as the heat from my hands is going to aid the speedy fermentation process we want. It's now time to cover this bowl and stow it away in a warm place. The key to making perfect dosa is to ferment the batter well. 8 to 10 hours will usually suffice, but if it's cold, it can take longer. Don't add any salt at this point because it will slow down the fermentation. It's still super cold here, so my batter was ready after 12 hours, and as you can see, it's of a thick, flowing consistency with lots of bubbles, and it billows off the ladle like lava. The flavour is a happy kind of sour, just as it should be. Congratulations! Now that the dosa batter is ready, we can move on to making the filling. I've peeled my potatoes and I'm cutting them into 1 centimeter cubes. A quick parboil will hydrate the potatoes so that I can air fry them later and they'll still remain fluffy on the inside. You just need to boil these potatoes for a couple of minutes, they don't need to soften completely. Add some olive oil and salt to the potatoes, give them a good shake, and then air fry for around 10 to 12 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, that's 355 degrees Fahrenheit, until they're golden and crispy just like this. They should be cooked all the way through by this point. Check if they're tender using a cocktail stick or a fork, and if they're not, then just give them a couple more minutes in the air fryer. Heat some olive oil in a large non-stick pan and add garlic, some fresh lemon zest, and red chilli. Saute this for a minute before adding in some sweet paprika and lemon juice. Stir the spices well before sprinkling in your final ingredient, some chopped fresh coriander and flat leaf parsley. After a brief mix, you're ready to add in those crispy potatoes. Give everything a really good stir and make sure all of those potatoes are coated in that flavourful garlic sauce. Spicy lemony potatoes inside a crispy homemade rice and urad dal dosa with garlic sauce, fresh coriander and parsley and juicy pomegranate. These potatoes are looking and smelling ready, so I'm going to take them off the heat whilst I spread my dosa batter. I've preheated my cast iron pan and I'm going to splash it with a little bit of water to temper the heat slightly. Now all you need to do is pour a ladle full of batter onto that preheated tawa, and then from the inside going out, spread the batter in concentric circles. Spread it as thinly as you can, and this might take a little bit of practice. A touch of ghee or oil will help the dosa to crisp up, and then once you've seen that it's started to turn brown on the underside, you can add in all of your fillings. I'm going in with my delicious garlicky-lemony batata harra. I'll also be adding in some more fresh coriander and parsley, some garlic sauce and fresh pomegranate seeds. They provide the perfect amount of juicy crunch. A drizzle of pomegranate molasses would also be delicious in this. Now all you need to do is roll or fold. This delicious Lebanese-inspired Batata Harra Dosa is ready to serve. Please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time with a new delicious recipe.